Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, let's of course talk about Bitcoin and crypto, what's going on in this space, and let's talk about this heated debate between Bitcoin bull Anthony Pompliano and Bitcoin skeptic who argues Bitcoin is going to zero, crypto is going to zero, and I did want to react to a part of that debate. That interview. So let's get started. Well, first things first, let's look at what happened today. Let's look at some market news. It looks like tomorrow's looking green because today was very red. But Bitcoin and crypto overall held pretty well, didn't really move anywhere, and that's a big bonus because it does seem like Bitcoin has decoupled away from the US markets for at least this last month or so. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. But right now, there's still a lot of uncertainty, right, about the Fed, about rates. Tomorrow, there's a big jobs report. How is it going to come in? If it comes in hot, meaning there's a lot of new people getting jobs, well, that could actually make the market turn red. Kind of like today, because we had a little bit of that. So, unfortunately, good economic news equals bad economic times, at least right now. So we'll have to see what tomorrow brings. But I did see a couple things that caught my eye. ChatGPT, a lot of you guys have heard of this. It's spreading like wildfire everywhere, all social media, like especially TikTok, all these guys saying how they're using ChatGPT for, script creation, summary, rewriting stuff, title creation, all this stuff. It could write code and all that stuff. It's pretty amazing that it's already, or it's going to be valued at close to $30 billion. The future of AI, right? And Microsoft does have a stake in him. So Bing, not that anyone uses Bing search, but this has a lot of people worried, especially at Google, because Bing search will be integrating with ChatGPT. Right now, ChatGPT's weakness is it's not connected to the internet. It knows data up to a certain point in 2021, and it's been cut off from there, right? So whatever you ask it, it'll know up to 2021. But imagine when it does actually have access to the internet. And a lot of people think Microsoft is going to get a huge leg up with Bing being integrated. So Google is actually panicking a little bit about this. At least that's rumors, right? Whether or not they really care, I don't know. But it does show the future of AI, right? Maybe in the future, you don't have to think for yourself anymore. Just tell AI to write an article for you or summarize a book for you or even summarize an interview or anything. It could do that. You could argue it's already here. So there's that. Also, as for Twitter, I mean, this can't be good for Elon. But supposedly, 200 million user email addresses leaked. There was some hack that was a while ago, and supposedly, all this information was leaked out. User email and any other information, right? Because Twitter does ask you for some personal information. So supposedly some hacker has it. Is trying to ransom, trying to get Elon to pay up, right? If they leak this out, obviously not a good situation, adding fuel to the fire because Twitter's kind of, in limbo right now. Elon's trying to fix it, but if this comes out, it's going to be way worse, right? So hopefully this gets stopped in some way. Also, I don't know if this is good. Some of you guys may be cheering for this, but New York Attorney General is suing Celsius' CEO, Alex Mashinsky, for defrauding 26,000 New Yorkers. Now, this is a civil suit. This is not a criminal suit. So even if he loses, he's not going to face jail time for this. At least I don't think so, because I've read this is a civil suit. But basically, Alex Mashinsky is accused of lying to the people about risks, investing in Celsius, and defrauding them. And if he's convicted, he will no longer be able to register or run any business in New York, right? So I don't know if you would consider this good news, bad. I would say good news, right? But again, it's civil. It's not really going to affect anything other than maybe hold him a little bit more accountable, because I think Alex right now, after he resigned from Celsius, he's still out and about, still tweeting. Like, it seems like nothing really happened, right? But he's about to face some heat. That's for sure. What else is going on? Who else is facing heat? Unfortunately, Barry Shilbert. A couple bad news today. DCG, the parent company of Genesis, and Barry Silbert is the CEO, they decided to close down their wealth management business. Now, this is pretty big, because that wealth management business supposedly had $3.5 billion in assets. That means they are holding $3.5 billion of assets from really large institutions or family offices or wealthy people, right? So they're closing this down, giving it back, because I guess right now they feel like it's just not the time to have it. I don't know. We know DCG is desperately trying to plug that hole, that $1.7 billion hole that Genesis has, right? So how are they going to do it? Do they plan on selling off assets? We don't know at this point. So obviously this is not a good look. What's also not a good look is this. Genesis themselves is laying off 30% more of his staff. They already laid off a lot of staff before, but now they're laying off more staff. Again, trying to plug that $1.7 billion hole, which laying 30% of staff is not going to help, to be honest. Okay, this is not going to help. That hole needs to be patched up quickly. And I don't know where DCC is going to get it from. Not quite sure, but I guess what's that? Wait and see. Wait and see. What else is going on? Well, before I get to the Bitcoin interview, I usually cover altcoin news last, but I'm going to cover some good ones. So there's a couple things going on. If you're a SHIB fan, well, know this, that Shibarium is nearing release. Okay, so the main developer on Shibarium says that Shibarium is getting ready. Okay, and it's using Bone as the asset to pay for gas. So it's a layer 2, in case you're not aware. Shibarium right now, SHIB is on top of Ethereum right now. So there is congestion. Sometimes it's slow, right? But they want to come out their own layer 2. And after that, they're going to introduce their metaverse. They're going to do a lot of stuff. But this is a big thing to introduce your layer 2. So not only that, they're burning. They do have burning now, and it's still ongoing, right? So SHIB has a lot of stuff going on for it, right? Not just sticking with a meme coin, although it's still fun, and a lot of people love SHIB, right? But they are still building and just trying to get away from this whole meme coin thing, while still trying to be fun. So I guess this is good overall. So that's good news. Also, a little Avalanche news. I saw a couple things. Shopify had partnered up with Avalanche, so now you could design, mint, and sell Avalanche NFTs straight on Shopify. That's a pretty big integration. Most NFT partnerships these days is with Polygon. Okay, Reddit, Starbucks, Coca-Cola, they're all on Polygon. So for Avalanche to have a big win like this, that's pretty positive. But not only that, the International Chess Federation wants to run all these like chess tournaments, I guess, on top of Avalanche. This is kind of wild. I'm not even sure why they need to. You could just have chess tournaments, but they're integrating with Avalanche. I guess they want to make sure everything's valid. There's no cheating. I actually don't know. But this, again, out of left field, but hey, we'll take it, or Avalanche will take it. This will be a good thing for them. So again, good things all around. Now, let's get to this, and I'm going to play a little bit of this. So Anthony Pompliano, a lot of you guys know. You guys know who Pomp is, right? Big Bitcoin bull, the one that converted Jim Cramer to Bitcoin, and then now Jim has turned on Bitcoin and crypto and Pomp, right? So he's debating this guy, Michael Schellenberger, who is a best-selling author, but ultimately he's a very, very big skeptic of Bitcoin and crypto. And, the reason why, to be honest, I never heard of this guy, right? And I listened to this interview, bits and pieces. But the reason why I want to play this certain part is because some people in the live chat have asked me these very same questions, right? Not to troll, not to FUD, but they just don't simply understand. And I think Pomp makes some good points, and I could add to it. But there's a little section in here where he simply thinks that Bitcoin is only used for legal activities, has no value at all, and no purpose at all. And, Bitcoin and crypto ultimately should both go to zero because it has no use case, no purpose, right? So I think a lot of people, have asked me the same questions. And that's why I thought, this portion I'm going to play, it's about 4 or 5 minutes. It's not too long. But I think it's a good here, and then I can react to it as well. So let me set up my thing here. Let me get this going. All right. Okay, I have my setup ready.
Allow Bitcoin to move from the black market economy into the mainstream economy. That's why I don't want to see it regulated. It's actually not a thing. All we should do is warn consumers to stay the hell away from it. It is part of a radical political agenda that the vast majority of people are not on board with, because we actually prefer to have functioning nation states that have
but that's not true.
Militaries that protect us.
The White House disagrees.
That we can defend it. And so
the White House disagrees, though. 14% of U.S. citizens, according to the White House, own this asset.
Yeah, because they don't understand what it is, because they've been scammed. I mean, people buy Herbalife and they buy,
but not 14%.
They bought Bernie Madoff, and
not 14%.
SBF is the face of crypto.
Not 14%. Not 14% of the U.S. population owns the asset. 150 plus million people around the world does more transaction volume than MasterCard in a given year.
It's the biggest. It's a huge financial scam, and it's crashing.
But what's the scam? This would be interesting to talk about.
There's no use value.
But okay, so hold on. So if you were to ask
criminal
me,
activity,
if you were,
okay, first of all, I could see how people don't get it, right? And it's natural for people just to call things they don't understand a scam, right? But even when asked, why is it a scam? The only thing he could say is it has no use value. Where's the scam? Who's running the scam, right? It's not any company. It's not any government. It's a free market, open source software, right? That people are supporting by mining, right? Like where's the scam in that? He can't even answer that. So okay, so let me have Pomp continue.
If you were to ask me what is the use cases for Bitcoin, right? I would argue there's a store of value, just buy it and hold it for a long period of time. The second, and no different than gold, a house. I could literally say that
you can do things with gold. Gold you can do things with. Gold has a lot of purposes.
Well, no. But I'm just saying that there's store of value. It may be a bad store of value, but I could go outside and I could buy a bunch of rocks from somebody who's a rock dealer and just hold them in my house and say, I think that in the future is going to be worth more money. So store of value is
more valuable than your Bitcoin for sure, those rocks.
Okay, so hold on. So store of value. The second thing is medium of exchange. The nice thing is that rather than debate
if it has no value, then its exchange is pointless.
But I would argue that you think, let's say...
That statement doesn't even make sense. If it has no value, exchange is pointless. The fact that there is exchange means that it has value, right? So that statement doesn't even make sense. How can you exchange something that has no value? Okay.
For example,
why run away from the use question? Let's talk about that some more.
Well, because I'm walking through it.
Only if you can scam people into paying money for it.
But see,
here's the only way it's useful. Otherwise, it has no benefits in terms of digital transactions, zero benefits.
So you're saying that 14%. So according to your thought process here, 14% of the U.S. Population has been scammed These are consenting free individuals who come together.
My family.
You're saying your wife was scammed.
Yes,
okay.
I am.
All right. So in all seriousness, you have store value, you have medium of exchange. The third thing, which we talked about earlier, is speculation. I actually think that is a use case no different than a bunch of other assets.
If there's no use to if it's completely just funny money, like Herbalife at the end of the day, or in Tupperware, my mom was Tupperware, pyramid scheme. It was great. We ended up with Tupperware at the end of it. Or you end up with a bunch of Herbalife. Yeah, it's more Herbalife than you need for yourself, but who cares? You have some Herbalife. With Bitcoin, you have nothing. I mean, at worst, and even worse than that, though, you've basically legitimized and normalized money laundering so that it's easier, if you were to make Bitcoin successful, it'd be easier to get drug money to be able to buy.
First of all, Bitcoin is already successful. That's why they're having a debate. It's why everyone is having this debate. And again, for him, just like all Bitcoin skeptics that doesn't really understand, and when they're pressed, all they could say is, well, it's used for money laundering. It's used for illegal activities, even though cash has been used for more illegal activities than anything out there. And Pomp continues that. But again, you see the same kind of arguments because there's really nothing else to say. And as for utility, well, I'm surprised Pomp didn't say this. He kept kind of hinting at the fact that, 14% of U.S. citizens have Bitcoin, right? So it must make it not a scam. Well, I think that's probably not a good argument. But the argument is this: there is utility. The fact that you can send Bitcoin worldwide without anyone stopping it. There's no KYC. There's no one that could ask you who you're sending it to, why you're sending it to, how much you're sending, right? The fact is, you have this massive decentralized network, arguably the most secure on earth, and it allows you to send money, or Bitcoin in this case, anywhere to anyone, basically instantaneous, either using Lightning Network or using the Bitcoin network, which takes less than 10 minutes. That has value. That has utility. And there's thousands of merchants that's also accepting Bitcoin as payment. You have countries that are coming out with Bitcoin bonds, right? And countries that are supporting Bitcoin by making legal tender. And there's presidential candidates that's coming out saying that central banks, should be shut down and we should embrace something like Bitcoin because it's anti-bank, it's the truth, right? You can't say that there's no utility, there's no value. Okay, we'll continue.
Buy that big
house
it's harder.
In Miami. It's harder. Like if you go talk to, and I've talked to it, FBI, DOJ, any of these folks, you go talk to them, they would prefer people use Bitcoin over any other currency in the world because it is easier to track. What criminal wants to conduct criminal transactions on a public ledger that is immutable, it never can be changed, and people can go back and look all the way from the beginning, every single transaction that was done? That's how all these guys are getting caught. Is because they're using.
I mean, there's just billions and billions. I mean, just people can Google crypto billions stolen crime, and you just end up with too many news articles than you can read.
But hacks are different than money laundering. The former CIA director did a study, and he estimated that 0.4, less than 0.5% of all transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain have anything to do with nefarious purposes. So not just money laundering, any nefarious purpose, 0.4%, compared to, they estimate $2 trillion a year in fiat currencies. And so when you
but that's not relative.
Why is it not relative?
Well, because there's a lot more fiat currency.
Okay, but how much more fiat currency? There's $80 trillion.
Anthony, there is no utility to this thing.
Okay.
See, again, he doesn't know how to argue that. Goes back to there's no utility. Okay, and Anthony makes a good point here.
Would you argue that there is utility if you buy your house and you live in it? There's utility from living in it, but also a use case of buying your house is the belief that it's going to go up in value. So if I buy Bitcoin and I just hold it,
but you can't then go get rid of the house part of that story and then go, well, because it's also a speculative asset.
Of course I can.
Things that are only speculative assets. Tulips had value. Herbalife has value. Tupperware has value. Pyramid schemes, even Madoff, I think that people ended up getting back like 80% of, their money. Crypto ultimately should be zero. Like if people were rational, it would have like zero value, except for maybe some value as like an art project, but it would really have zero value.
So just so I'm clear, you think that anti-censorship, anti-censorship, private property rights, and expression in the digital realm of free speech, those have zero value?
Well, like I said, I would give it a little bit of value.
No, he didn't say that. He says it has zero value, and now he changes his mind. Basically, from what I'm understanding is this guy wants to see something physical. Tulips or Herbalife vitamins. He keeps saying Herbalife. Does he even understand what Herbalife is? It's a company that sells vitamins. So it's vitamins, but he keeps saying Herbalife. I don't even think he knows what the company is. So Herbalife, tulips, whatever, houses, right? I think what this guy values is physicalness, physical items, and that's how he thinks it has utility, right? Like, I think that's ultimately, there are just some people that don't believe that something virtual can have worth. I think that's what it boils down to, right? That's what it boils down to. But anyways, a lot of you guys I know is like, what's the point of showing this guy? He's a troll, right? No, but the thing is, I think a lot of people, I've seen people asking me the same kind of questions. Like, what utility does Bitcoin serve? What purpose does it serve, right? Why does it have any value? It's the same question that this guy's asking. So that's why I wanted to clarify a little bit, because I do think it's relevant, especially now. It's easy for the trolls and naysayers to come out and start attacking Bitcoin and attacking crypto because it's easy to beat a horse while it's down, right? But no one asks these questions when it's going sky high, right? The naysayers are coming out of the woods and, doing what they can to try to suppress Bitcoin while it's down, but it only works so long until we come back up. And speaking about coming back up, all the charts and metrics is still showing the same thing. Right? We have hit a bottom, we are consolidating, and we're getting ready to move higher. And every single downturn we had so far results in a higher low. And of course, every upturn results in a higher high. So, yeah, looking good. Looking good, guys. All right, that is pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let me see. Let me scroll up. Let me see if I missed any comments here. Shout out to everyone on Rumble. Got about 60-something people. On Twitch, there's about 6 people. Shout out to Lacking Vit D. What am I drinking? I'm drinking Gatorade. All right, let me scroll through here. His pronoun is clown. That's funny. That's funny. I'm surprised Pomp had as much patience as he did. I don't know if I can contain myself. It sounds like they know each other. Maybe they're friends, old friends. I don't know, but man, it's hard to get through that. But of course, if you want to watch the full interview, please do so. It's on Anthony Pompliano's channel. I don't need to be rich until 2025. Good. You got to stretch out your timeline right? I think too many people in this space or get into this space thinking that it's easy money. And at times, yeah, it is easy money. But when it's not easy money, the hard money is when, when we go down, right? But that's how you build your wealth, is by buying low and selling high, not vice versa. What's my favorite BMW? I mean, I haven't tested a lot of the newer M cars. Of course, they look fantastic, but if you're looking for SUV, especially like a German SUV, BMWs drive the best. Hands down. Drives better than Audis and Mercedes. Interior is not as good as the other two, but they just drive better. They just do. I don't know if that answers your question, or you're looking for like sports cars. I haven't tested the new M4, M3 yet, or any of the M's, really, M5s. If you're looking for speed, pure speed, kind of M car is kind of like irrelevant at this point because EVs just destroy them in terms of speed. So, I don't know. Would you get a Hellcat? Yeah, I would. I've always liked Challengers. I think Challengers look really good. I would get a Hellcat. Was it? They have the Red Eye, Hellcat Red Eye or something like that. I would get it. Rob asked, I think I understand blockchain. What I don't understand are coins and tokens. Why are they needed? Basically, you're paying. Just think about if you're using a highway, you have to pay tolls, right? That's what most of the coins and tokens are. You use them to pay gas fees. Basically, for transactions on the network, you need to pay a little bit to do anything. Like, for example, buying an NFT, or sending tokens from one person to another, or utilizing it to pay for services. Primarily, coins and tokens are used to pay for transactions, but they could also be used for other things. In some ways, it's kind of like stocks, where you have some ownership, but really you think about it, if you have a lot of projects allow you to vote on future decisions based on what you hold, kind of like if you were a shareholder, but not really. So there's governance aspect to it too. That's why it's part of the decentralization. So there's that as well. And also to pay for things, right? There are dApps that allow you to pay for things directly with coins. For example, Travala is a travel site. If you wanted to buy your airline tickets using ETH, you could do so, right? So there's a lot of stuff. Dan, I guess. Okay, Dan. I don't know what to say to that, but luckily, I don't think Bitcoin is going to zero. We hate to lose you. Do you still suggest 50, 25, 25? Yes, I don't think that's to change. 50% Bitcoin, still a good idea. The biggest currency. The ultimate store value, yep. And then 50% in your favorite altcoins, which will give you a little bit more growth, obviously. And who knows what the futures brings, right? I think Bitcoin, there's going to be more development. There's going to be more stuff, more adoption, obviously. But all the future innovations will not be happening on Bitcoin. They'll be happening on Ethereum or Cardano or Avalanche, or even something else. The other altcoins are more are more like tech companies. And Bitcoin is more like digital gold. That's the best way to look at it. Noah. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I watched the paperwork my boss had to go through with Chase just to send our investor $500K of our company money sitting in our account. No waiting with USDC or BTC. That's use case enough. I mean, yeah. I mean, the banks will say, oh, we're being regulated and this and that. And it's probably true. But the hoops you have to jump through sometimes. I mean, here's just a good example. I recently went to the bank and deposited $700. They asked me for my ID to deposit money, and it wasn't like, above 10,000 or whatever, right? They wanted to see it just for me to deposit. Like, I have my debit card, I have everything. Like, just let me deposit my money. They ask for everything. You try to send a transaction over $10,000, they're going to ask you who it's going to and why you're doing it and all this stuff, right? If you're a company, same thing. There are so many hoops. And at any given time, they could stop it. They could stop you. They could say, no, you can't. You can't do that, right? That's the point of having a decentralized network, so you don't have to go through that. You don't have to go through the hoops. You get to control your own money, right? You are your own bank at that point. Dan. Glad to see you're back by adding the if. If. When the bank asked me why I want to send $5K to my parents, I was like, what? Yeah, it happens. I mean, sometimes it's just annoying. I get it. They're trying to be secure. They want to make sure you're not falling for a scam or anything like that. But still, it's very intrusive, right? David, appreciate it. Is BTC, let's say, going to zero and we keep our coins in a cold wallet for 10 years? Are they going to be worth something one day, or the network stops, everything's gone? Crypto Stan, I think you're confusing yourself on many levels there. Even Bitcoin goes to zero. Let's say like it goes to like really close to 0.001. If the miners are mining, the network's still there. The network doesn't stop. If Bitcoin is not at zero, let's say it is here, and all the miners stop working, then yeah, the network stops and you can't make any transactions. So they're two separate things. And the likelihood of both happening is infinite. Basically, I don't see either one happening. I don't know Pomp personally. I saw him once at a party. I didn't get a chance to say hi or anything, but yeah, never met him, never talked to him. Banks only want you to deposit, never withdraw. Well, that's right. Because every dollar you deposit, okay, it used to be like every dollar you deposit, it allows them to loan that dollar out, right? But that's no longer the case. Every dollar you deposit allows them to borrow $10 from the Federal Reserve, and then they loan that out. So you are essentially their collateral. I mean, honestly, the Federal Reserve wants to see a little bit of reserve, right? And I was told some banks don't have no reserves anymore after COVID. But generally speaking, it's a 10% reserve. That means if you deposit $1, they could borrow $10 from your $1. That's why, did they ever want you to withdraw? No, because they want to borrow infinitely, basically, and give out loans, right? The only time they don't want that is when interest rates are high and they don't want to take on as much, people don't want to take on as much loans, and then, they kind of cool that down. But generally speaking, that's how banks make money. They give out loans, right? And the more money you deposit, the more loans they could give out. Brian, it's the opposite. No, I was not too starstruck. It's because I wanted him to come to me instead. No, that's not the reason. There was just too many people. It was a big party, a lot of things going on. In a worst case scenario, would ETH still survive? I don't know what you would consider worst case scenario. I mean, ETH and Bitcoin are two different projects, so worst case scenarios could be different for both. Worst case scenario, if aliens invade and destroy the Earth, is Bitcoin and Ethereum going to be worth anything? The answer is no. No. Is that considered worst case scenario? I don't know what you consider worst case scenario. Emery, hopefully the SEC is not going to stop it altogether. I know right now they're trying really hard to stop Binance from buying Voyager, but, maybe they can still get that pushed through. So there's still some hope that, depositors can get some of their assets back, right? There's still some hope that Celsius can get some money back. There's hope that BlockFi, can give some money back. There's hope that money will be given out, or assets in the form of crypto will be given back to the users. The percentage, we just don't know. It could be a high percentage. It could be 70, 80, 90%, right? Hopefully, someone like Binance, if they do buy Voyager, they will try to make it as whole as possible, like 100%. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I'm just assuming that they have the resources to make it happen. But the SEC does not want that to happen. The SEC is throwing a wrench in things. They always try to stop. I mean, Gary Gensler wants all the control, right? That ultimately, that's what's come down to. He wants all the control. He doesn't want anything good to happen in crypto. He wants to take over, right? Do you think Arweave and Filecoin be used together for AI storage? Sure. There was a project I looked at that actually utilizes all the decentralized storages. So it would actually pick and choose and compare the prices of each and allow whatever you're storing to be like spread across different projects. It actually sounded pretty cool. I forgot what project that was. It was a smaller project, but yeah, I mean, each individual one, Arweave has been selected by Instagram to store the NFTs. That's a big thing. That's a huge thing. So there are definitely projects that want to utilize decentralized storage and can utilize AI storage on them. Sure you can. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Overall, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Right now, U.S. market is looking green. Let's see if that holds. Tommy, last thing. I stumbled across a Solana retail store. Kind of cool, kind of confusing. Sales guy had an OG FTX shirt. I tried to buy it. I guess. Okay. I just think it's a big waste of money. And time and resources to have that store. But maybe some people like it. All right. Have a good one. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Take care. Bye-bye.